Our agenda for today will be grasslands. So we'll be discussing this topic in a very structured manner as usual. We'll be discussing what exactly is a grassland, what is the need for me to discuss this topic at this point of time. We'll be discussing various features, examples. I'll illustrate you with various pictures to make it even more interesting. At the end, it's not just going to be about current affairs, it is not just going to be about the images or illustrations or the current affairs. It is, we are going to do a lot of mapping as well, especially the state of Assam. So just stay tuned. So, first of all, of course, definition kya hai? Okay. So grassland, how can you define a grassland? I'll just give you the keywords and you will immediately, if you remember them, you can form a nice one-liner or sentence. So it is an expansive area. Okay. It is an expansive area where the primary or the chief vegetation is grass, of course, but not just any ordinary grass. I'll come to it. And minimal amount or number of forest, trees, or shrubs. Okay. To expand that definition, you can further add some of the characteristics. There is less rainfall, particularly between 600 mm to 1500 mm annual rainfall. Okay. And these grasslands are prone to fires. Okay. So those regular fires, those regular uh, replenishment, that does not allow the trees to occur. So there is water paucity and they are also prone to fires. Then there are tropical as well as temperate grasslands. Okay, some examples we'll be discussing. Then, most importantly, I told you about this grass. So, this grass, which is found in the grasslands all over the world, it has a particular family name, which is Poaceae. So, I checked this pronunciation online. It's not actually Poaceae, it is Poaceae. It is also known as Gramineae. Okay, so what exactly is this? It is a family of two grasses. Two grasses, or in biological terms or in botany terms, monocotyledonous flowering plants. Okay, just to be even more precise. So, what these grasses consist of? They consist of cereal, cereal grasses, then bamboo, the natural grassland grasses, even the grasses in the lawns and fodder crops. Fodder. So I'll show you, I'll illustrate with the diagram also. So this is the type of example of the Poaceae grasses which are primarily found in the grasslands. But there are variety. You can see these two different landscapes. These are actual images. So this image is of the prairie grasslands in North America. This is Cerrado grasslands. It is an ecoregion in South America. So basically, so this is South America. So these grasslands, they cover majorly the portion of this Brazil and part of Paraguay also. You might have also come across this in the northern part of South America. The grasslands are known as llanos. Then the Amazon rainforest known as selvas. Here we have temperate grasslands also, which are known as campos. So temperate and tropical, just they indicate the latitude along which they are situated. Similarly, prairies. Then we have other names for grasslands. We have meadows or meadows in Great Britain. Then we have savanna in Africa. Okay. Then we have in Central Asia the steppes. These are temperate grasslands. Savanna, some of the grasses in the savanna grasslands are also known as elephant grass. They are very tall, up to 15 feet in nature. So elephant grass, it is also scientific name is uh, pennisetum. Okay. Then if we come to India, then in India we have, you might have heard of this, chores, the foothills. Okay. Then we have the Terai region, the marshlands, where there are species like the swamp deer. Then we have the Fumdis. Fumdis is very famous. These are the floating islands, the floating masses of organic matter, biomass, decomposing matter, especially in the Loktak Lake in Manipur. They are known as there is a species there known as the dancing deer also, or the common name is Sangai. Okay. So all these, then in Gujarat we have Banni grasslands, the keep. So then in the Western Ghats we have the Shola forests. Okay. So what are the Shola forest? First of all, Shola does not correspond to any flame or explosion or ball of fire, or you know, it is basically derived from the Tamil word solai, okay, which refers to grove. So actually the Shola forest, they are a mixture of stunted evergreen temperate mountain temperate forest interspersed with a lot of grasses or grasslands. So it is a biodiversity hotspot. Okay. So these are the important. So before that, what is the significance of grasslands? Why are we actually discussing this? So, some of these significances, first of all, I told you that they host a variety of floral and faunal species. I've already given you an example. Okay. Then they help protect the soil from erosion. Why? Because they are grasses, they have dense fibrous roots which protect the soil, make it fertile also by providing it with humus and biomass. Then they also help in carbon sequestration. So there is a stat which you can note that around 20% of the world global carbon stocks, they are stored within the grasslands. So obviously, what does any chlorophyll containing plant species do? It absorbs carbon dioxide and performs photosynthesis. So deep, this carbon is stored deep in the soil. So this is an example of carbon sequestration. Now we come to what was the need for discussing this topic in the first place. So from May 25, from March to May 2025, the first ever grassland bird census was conducted in the Kaziranga National Park. We'll be doing mapping also. Okay, so 43 species were discovered, out of which 10 were prioritized. So the basis of prioritization was that the scientists or the researchers, they studied the species which were globally threatened or endemic to the Brahmaputra floodplains or the Brahmaputra plains. Fine, because Kaziranga National Park, and Kaziranga Tiger Reserve is located along the floodplains of the Brahmaputra. Fine. So some of the names now UPSC is or other competitive exams, they have a habit of asking some questions relating to the categorization of various species in the IUCN Red List. So some examples I'm going to discuss. I'll show you the images also. So first of all, why are these birds specially being studied? We have tigers, we have one-horned rhinoceros, we have the wild water buffalo. Why not those? Because birds, they are a kind of flagship or indicator species. Their presence, their existence, their population, their colonies, their niche, it helps determine the health of the ecosystem. Grassland is not just a floating mat or carpet of grass. It corresponds to the interaction, a web of interaction between biotic and abiotic components. So they act as flagship species. Okay. So these are the basic. So first I'll make it a little more interesting. So some of these species. So this is a grassland species Bengal florican. Okay, important thing how you can connect it with other environmental aspects. Recently, the GIB or the Great Indian Bustard was in news. Why? It is primarily found in the grassland areas of Rajasthan, and there are four species of bustard, one of which is Bengal florican, other is lesser florican, one is McQueen's bustard. So it is very important for you to note. So in the IUCN list, it Bengal florican is noted as critically endangered. Same for Great Indian bustard. Okay. Then this is the Finns weaver. This is in the endangered list. So I'm not going to discuss the hierarchy of the IUCN. This is your homework if you don't remember. This is a picture of the marsh babbler. This is in the vulnerable list. Okay, fine. So this is how you can relate. So some novel techniques which were used in this bird census, that is also important. Passive acoustic monitoring. Okay. So what happens is these birds are extremely shy and camouflaged. So they cannot be identified directly by counting. So these passive acoustic monitoring devices, they are placed at several gaps, several places to monitor their calls. And especially this March to May region, March to May season, these months were used because they are highly active. That is the breeding season for this bird species, and they are highly vocal to call out to their mates. Then there is a bird net AI tool which was also used to identify birds. And in case the sounds or the voices of the birds were not we were not able to recognize, then the scientists used spectrogram also. Okay. One of the major why these again, why grasslands are important, we have studied. Now, what is the status of the grasslands? Grasslands, they occupy 25% of India's territorial area. But unlike wetlands, which are given some degree of protection, less than 5% of this wetlands, of these grasslands, are under protected area. For example, Loktak Lake, which I discussed, it is actually a wetland also. So it is offered some degree of protection. It also finds its place in the Ramsar wetlands importance. And According to the UNCCD report, that is the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, the there has been millions of hectares from 18 million hectares of grasslands a decade ago. Now we have only 12 million grasslands. So there is also an imperative or imminent need to protect these ecosystems. Fine. Now we also know that Kaziranga is a tiger reserve also, apart from being a national park. So recently, the phase 4 of Kaziranga tiger census was completed and 148 tigers were counted. Okay. So this was one highlight. Then the other highlight was now Kaziranga has the third highest, boasts of the third highest density of tigers after the Jim Corbett National Park in Uttarakhand and Bandipur Tiger Reserve in Karnataka. So these are the results of the conservation efforts. For example, Project Tiger, you might have all been aware of this. A lot of tiger reserves are being there for examination purposes, or otherwise also you have to remember some of them. Then we have the International Big Cat Alliance also, so you can study this whenever you have time. So again, this important topic. Okay, now the important part or the interesting part, which I feel you will have interest in, we'll do slide mapping. So, can you recognize which state is this? This is Assam. Okay. Then, some important facts just I would like to discuss. So, if I ask you how many Indian states border the state of Assam, so you should be able to realize or recognize. So, we have, if I just mark, so here we have West Bengal. Note that Assam does not share a border with Sikkim. Then here we have Meghalaya. Here we have Tripura. Here we have Mizoram. Here we have Manipur. Here we have Nagaland. Here we have some part of Arunachal Pradesh. Here we have Arunachal Pradesh entirely. Here we have the international boundary Bhutan. Okay, there is a small boundary here with Bangladesh, small boundary, little boundary here with Bangladesh. So you can count one states 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, the highest number of boundaries which an Indian state shares with other Indian states is for UP, 8 boundaries of other states, and 2 international boundaries with Assam, Bhutan, and Bangladesh. Okay. Now, some important places. First of all, the river on which the so this is Arunachal Pradesh is a very important river flowing through, which is also in the news due to conflict with our friendly neighborhood China. It's building a dam, world's largest dam. So this is the Brahmaputra River. It is known as Siang. It is known as Yarlung Zangpo or Sangpo in Tibet or China. Then it is known as Siang in Arunachal Pradesh. It is known as Brahmaputra in Assam. Then it is known as Jamuna when it enters Bangladesh. Okay, some important tributaries you should also know. This is the Dibang, this is the Lohit. Okay, here we have another tributary, Dhansiri. we have important tributary Sankosh. Then we have important tributary Manas. We have it is coming from Bhutan, both this Sankosh and this Manas. Then we have Kameng, very important tributary. Then we have Subasiri also. Okay, so you should be able to recognize which are the right bank and left bank tributaries. So this Lohit, Dibang, Dhansiri will be the left bank tributaries because the Brahmaputra is flowing like this, so it will be lie to the left. And this four, this Sankosh, Manas, Kameng, Sumasiri, these are the right bank tributaries. Okay. Now let us locate some of the important hill areas. So we know we have the Garo Khasi Jaintia hills, part of the Meghalaya plateau. Then here, this portion, this is the Karbi Anglong plateau, also known as the Mikir hills. Here we have Nagaland and Manipur, part of Purvanchal range, known as what? The Bareil range. Fine. And another river, if you want to note down, because this question is also asked in the prelims or other PCS examinations, there is another left bank tributary of Brahmaputra, Kopili, which separates the Meghalaya plateau from the Karbi Anglong plateau. Now, the important national parks, tiger reserves, biosphere reserves. So, a lot of important data I have to discuss here. So here we have the Manas National Park. Okay. Then here we have the Orang Asli National Park. Here we have the Pobitra Wildlife Sanctuary, famous for the one-horned rhinoceros. Then here we have the Kaziranga National Park. Fine. Here another important, it is a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve, which is the Dibru Saikova. So in Assam, Dibru Saikova, this Manas National Park is also a biosphere reserve. These two fall in the UNESCO network of biosphere reserves. So these important facts should be noted down. Okay. Then some important places I'm going to mark. This is Dhubri, and this here is the town of Sadia. Why I have mentioned this? Because this stretch from Sadia to Dhubri is part of National Waterway 2. Okay. Then there is another river not related to Brahmaputra but flowing through this Manipur region, then entering Assam, and then acting as a transboundary river. It derives or merges with or becomes Kusiara River. You might have heard of this river Kusiara. It is a transboundary river between India and Bangladesh. There is a Surma River also. These Surma and Kusiara rivers, they combine together to form Meghna. Then Meghna joins Brahmaputra as a tributary, and finally it joins Ganga coming from the west to form Padma, and which finally drains into the Bay of Bengal. So, and now the important places. So here also there are some important places we'll mark. So this place is Lakhipur. This place is Bhanga. Now why I mentioned again, this is the part of the stretch of National Waterway 6. Okay, National Waterways we are not going to discuss in detail right now. This here is a border town. So here is a border between Assam and Bangladesh. So it is a border town, Karimganj. Here we have a place known as Silchar. You have been studying this name since childhood. Why? Because a part of the east-west corridor. When we study the Golden Quadrilateral, the east-west corridor, it extends from Silchar in Assam to Porbandar in Gujarat. Okay, so some interesting. So we have discussed this. Then some more important places. This place is Kokrajhar. Okay, this is a prime or a heartland for the Bodo community. So you might have read the sixth schedule of the constitution, which provides or envisages the formation of autonomous territorial council for the tribal areas. So this Bodoland Territorial Council, this Kokrajhar is the headquarters. So these northern parts consisting of 4 districts, it forms part of this territorial council. Other two other autonomous territorial councils are there, which are for the Karbi Anglong region, and one is for the Dima Hasao region. So Karbi Anglong and Dima Hasao region. Okay, so in this way you can remember a lot of things. Then Kokrajhar is there. You might have heard of this place, famous place, oil refinery, Bongai Gaon. Okay, here we have Guwahati. Here we have Dispur. So Dispur, not Guwahati. Dispur is the capital of Assam. In Guwahati, we have a famous temple known as Kamakhya. Okay, Kamakhya festival is there. Okay, then what else? Here we have Asia's oldest oil well or oil reserve, Digboi. Fine. Then here we have Tinsukia. Tinsukia is a district in Assam which has a famous coal field known as Makum. What is so special about the coal which is found in Assam? Again, for those who have studied geography, geomorphology in detail, this coal, unlike the Gondwana coal found in the Damodar Valley or the Chota Nagpur Plateau, this belongs to the Oligocene epoch of the Tertiary period during the time of the formation of Himalayas. Okay. Then some important bridges have been inaugurated by Prime Minister Modi in recent years to envisage the importance of Assam and to augment the transport infrastructure. So this there is a bridge here on the Lohit River, okay, which is known as the Dhola Sadia Bridge. Okay, on the Lohit River, it is also known as the Bhupen Hazarika Bridge. So Bhupen Hazarika was a very famous Indian singer, songwriter, and also a member of the Assam Legislative Assembly. So it is the longest bridge over water in India. This is a fact. Okay. Then here we have, you might have heard of this, the Bogie Beal Bridge. It was much in the news some time back. Another fact, Beal is normally another term used for wetland in Assam. Okay. Then here we have the Saraighat Bridge. Okay. So some of the important places you should remember. It might seem a lot, but if some places you remember, like some of the bird species you remember, you can easily eliminate some of the options or answer or write in as case studies or various in mains, prelims, or any optional exam in GS1, GS3. So you can easily write these. Okay. And another, I just recollected from this picture ahead. So there is a this Chiraideo Maidams. It was included quite recently as a UNESCO Cultural World Heritage Site. This is the burial mounds pertaining to the Ahom dynasty. Okay, so here again, like I discussed, this Dibro Saikova and Manas biosphere reserves, they are in the UNESCO network of biosphere reserves. There are there is one this cultural World Heritage UNESCO World Heritage site here, and two natural UNESCO heritage sites, which one of which is Manas National Park or Manas Biosphere Reserve, and the other one is the Kaziranga National Park. So these small things you need to remember. The question can be asked which of these are the UNESCO World Heritage Sites or which of these are part of the UNESCO Biosphere Reserve. So this is the way to go. Okay, again. So there are too many things actually, but they're interesting things. So here, this region, this is home to the world's largest riverine island, Majuli Island. Riverine Island, what happens is because it is the lower Brahmaputra plains, so the sediments they get deposited by the river and they form small islands. So this is the largest island, riverine island in the world. Here near Guwahati, we have another island known as Umananda. This is the world's smallest riverine island. And I have some pictures. So this is an aerial view of Umananda. This is an illustration, a picture of the Majuli Island, world's largest riverine island. This is a picture of the Chiradio Moidam. So this is the burial site. Mound has been laid over it. So very interesting. It is part of the UNESCO World Cultural Heritage Site. Fine. So just a sample questions. Like I said that I told you some of the species. So these questions can come. So if you consider the following pairs, so you can see Indian grassbird, tiger. So how many pairs given above are correct? So you can, I can tell you the answer, but I would like you to just try and find out. Some we have already found. Discuss this marsh babbler. Okay, we have not discussed this. So this tiger and gharial, these are normally part of the static part of environment. This you should know. And how many pairs? Just try it. Pause the this video and try to find out the answer. Okay. So we have studied in detail about the grasslands, and I hope this session was enlightening for you. Until we meet again next time, Jai Hind.